Welcome to the hottest movie review on the internet today, the A-List Review. I am your host, the Game Changer, Wes Troop. And this week I've got 4 big reviews for you. 2 that are coming right into theater this week. They are the new theatrical releases Black Mass, starring Johnny Depp, as well as the Maze Runner, The Scorch Trials. And I'm also going to review a movie that I finally caught on DVD from Netflix. The one movie I didn't catch in theatrical release that came out around here. The second best Marigold Hotel. Second best exotic Marigold Hotel, thank you. And as well as this week's random review, which is the 2002, I believe, thriller Swimfan. Thriller in quotation marks. But let's kick it off with a good movie. Spoiler. Here's my review. Well, let's get right into this. Johnny Depp, you haven't gotten, other than Into the Woods, which I don't count because you run it for 5 minutes, you haven't got a positive review from me since 2011. So, is it finally the time to give Johnny Depp a good review? I think it might be. Here's my review of Black Mass. The true story of some of the life and times of Irish mobster James Whitey Bulger. During the 70s until the 90s, Bulger struck a deal with the FBI to be an informant to nail the Italian mob, which was a rival gang. In exchange, Bulger received some protection. Soon, government officials began digging around and start to suspect some foul play is going down. So what did I think of Black Mass? I thought it's a well-made crime drama. If you haven't heard of the story of Bulger, he's the ruthless leader of the Winter Hill Gang who committed at least a dozen murders. The film itself does a pretty good job covering a lot of the story, though it would have been nice to see a little more of what happened after the character goes on the run. While there is some bloody brutality throughout, don't expect a whole lot of action. This is more of a mob drama than a shoot-'em-up flick. The story is based on true events and shows some of Whitey's misdeeds, such as strangling hookers and making rats go sleep with the fishes, saying... I felt like I never truly knew who Bulger would kill in a scene because it was so unpredictable. You never knew if someone was going to live or die in any scene possible. While he's off the rails through most of the film, there are a few scenes that show his softer side interacting with his son and his mother. Johnny Depp does his best work in years as James Whitey Bulger, and with the help of some grade A makeup, really disappears into yet another great character. He makes Whitey scary and makes you feel uncomfortable in your seat. Don't be surprised if he gets an Oscar nomination for this role. The rest of the cast is fantastic as well, featuring Joel Edgerton as John Connolly, Whitey's old friend who's now an FBI agent who works a deal out with him and gets in too deep. Benedict Cumberbatch as William Bulger, the Boston senator and Jimmy's younger brother who turns a blind eye on his dealings. Kevin Bacon as Charles McGuire, John's boss who doesn't like the idea of bringing in Jimmy as an informant. Corey Stoll as Fred Weishak, a prosecutor who wants to bring Bulger's reign to an end. Peter Sarsgaard as Brian Halloran, a sleazy hitman. And Dakota Johnson as Lindsay, the mother of Bulger's son. While the film is only 2 hours, some parts began to drag a bit, and I felt it just needed a little kick every now and then to make it a classic. Black Mass is a good movie that is easily worth a watch. I'm going to give it the rating of do it. Yes, like I said, this is a good movie. I would recommend checking this out. I don't think it's going to be a classic up there with some of the other mob movies, you know, Godfather, Goodfellas. It's not up there. There's really no one to root for, per se, that's a good guy, other than maybe Corey Stoll is like the only good guy, because everyone's pretty corrupt in this movie. Even the people you would think would be the good guys are even a little corrupt. But very good performances. Like I said, the best I've seen Johnny Depp in years. If you are a Johnny Depp fan, you have to check this out. You will enjoy it, I'm sure. But like I said, a good movie, and I recommend it. Alright, and now if you are a fan of YA novels, which is young adult novels, you've most likely heard of The Maze Runner. And of course, if you saw last year's Maze Runner, you should know it. But if you're like me, you might not remember it. But I'm going to take a look at the second movie that came out this week. This is The Maze Runner, The Scorch Trials. After being rescued, the group known as the Gladers are in a large building which is full of other teens who were rescued from other mazes. After feeling that something's not quite right, they discover the scientists in the building are part of the organization the kids are running from in the first place and are using them as science experiments. Don't you just love when that happens? I love to be a science experiment. After this, the Gladers escape the facility and have to make their way through the Scorch to try and join up with the group who are also against the Wicked organization. In case you didn't know they were bad, their name is Wicked. The Maze Runner, The Scorch Trials, what did I think of it? I thought it's a tolerable action drama sequel. Having seen the first film only a year before this one, I could barely remember anything about it other than just random images in my mind. I have a feeling the second excursion will be just as forgettable when the third installment comes to town. There are no mazes for the kids to conquer this time, but they travel through a few different places in the Scorch, but have to outrun the bad guys again and again and again and again. Oh, and also this time, there's zombies involved. And you know what? I actually didn't even see that coming. I didn't even see it coming, man! There are some big-scale action sequences that are okay, but it's really nothing we haven't seen elsewhere done better. And speaking of, the movie itself borrows ideas from lots of other YA, young adult films, and other random movies. There's also still a bunch of annoying buzzwords to remember throughout the film. The Scorch and the Gladers and this and that and things can surprisingly become a bit confusing too, as not everything is explained as well as it should be, and there's still a lot of unanswered questions lingering around. This time I really didn't feel myself caring about any of the kids or getting invested into their journey. I was actually more interested in the supporting characters. The cast stars Dylan O'Brien as Thomas, the leader of the Gladers who is still trying to remember what happened in his past before the maze, Kaya Scodelario as Teresa, Thomas's friend who was a bigger part of his life than he had remembered, Thomas Brody Sangster as Newt, another Glader from the maze who has Thomas's back, Rosa Salazar as Brenda, a new friend they meet along the way who wants to find the resistance as well, Aidan Gillen as Jansen, a member of Wicked trying to hunt the kids down, and Patricia Clarkson as Ava Page, the leader of the evil organization. Wicked! Oh god, I can make so many Wicked jokes. But this movie certainly does not defy gravity. Oh, if you enjoyed the first film, you'll probably like this one as well. But I found The Maze Runner, The Scorch Trials to be a bit dry. I'm gonna give it the rating of meh. You know, it's okay. So, yeah. If you like the first one, you'll probably go see this one. If you don't care, don't watch it, obviously. This is not a series that is the next Star Wars. This is not the next Harry Potter. This is not the next Hunger Games. It's up there with Divergent and stuff like that. And it's not even the next Twilight. I don't even like those movies. But it's not that popular. But, you know, I liked the first one from what I read in my review, since I couldn't remember it at all, but very forgettable stuff. It's a lot of fluff. But if you're into these type of movies, then, you know, you probably already saw it. I don't even need to be telling you to see it. But if you're on the fence or whatever, wait till DVD or whatever, because, you know, don't run out and you don't have to run out and see this. Alright, and now finally a movie I caught on DVD. Came through Netflix that I just watched this week. This one had been eluding me because it didn't come out anywhere near me. It's like the one that got away. And I was fine with that. But I had to review it for the book and for the show. I do it for you. I did it for you. ladies and gentlemen, you might know the first one. This is another sequel. This is the second best exotic Marigold Hotel. The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel is up and running with their longtime residents. Now the co-managers of the hotel are looking to expand and make a second building in India as well. After a trip to America, an executive informs them an anonymous inspector will be sent to the hotel to evaluate the project. During this time, all the residents are also preparing for a big Indian wedding and dealing with drama in their personal lives. So what did I think of the second best exotic Marigold Hotel? La la la! I thought it is a ho-hum comedy drama. I thought the original film was pretty charming, but this sequel feels unneeded. It feels like an epilogue where nothing really happens. There are some humorous moments between the veteran cast members bickering and flirting that make things somewhat watchable. However, there are a lot of dull moments too, which make the 2-hour runtime feel like it's 5 hours. The film also feels like a soap opera, with its multiple storylines and subplots, some of which they didn't exactly catch my interest. The cast includes Judi Dench as Evelyn Greenslade, one of the hotel's residents who has been offered a job as a fabric buyer but is worried about the travel it entails, Maggie Smith as Muriel Donnelly, the new co-owner of the hotel who is hiding some news about her health to not ruin the upcoming wedding, Bill Nighy as Douglas, another resident going through a divorce and is interested in Evelyn, Dev Patel as Sonny Kapoor, the other co-worker of the hotel looking to impress the inspector coming from America and preparing for his wedding, and Richard Gere as Guy, the man Sonny assumes as the inspector from America who begins to take a liking to Sonny's mother. Oh, you sly gray fox, Richard Gere. While an older audience will probably enjoy, I felt one stay at the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel was enough. I'm gonna give it the rating of meh. You know, it's okay. I like the cast. You can't knock the cast, but there's so many characters in this. You're like, who's that person? Is that someone who's important? And you're like, oh yeah, I guess they were in the first movie. There's a lot going on, a lot of storylines you don't need in this movie, and there are so many moments that are just boring, flat out boring. But there is a little bit of good. If you like the first one, if you're over the age of 50, you will probably enjoy this more than, say, I will. You know, if you enjoyed the first one, check this one out. If not, you know, it doesn't matter. It's on DVD. You can get it through Netflix for free or Redbox for $1, so whatever. If you want to check it out, check it out. If not, no skin off of my nose. Alright, and finally, it was time for my torture of the week in this week's random review. Wow, it's like Mystery Science Theater up in here. Every week I tend to watch a bad movie because look at all these DVDs, alright people? And these aren't even the half of it. I am trying to purge my collection, and you know, Ethan Hawke's not even here to help me with the purge, but I'm trying to get rid of the crap that's been sitting collecting dust on these shelves that I've never watched or just haven't reviewed yet, and they're just taking up space. And I can bring in new good movies once they're gone. And I've already done that. I've traded some in. So, that's what I'm doing first. I'm going through the crap. But, bear with me. If you've never heard of some of these movies, or you've watched them and you can feel my pain, this one is a thriller, quote unquote, a teen thriller. It's called Swimfan. A big deal high school swimmer looking to impress colleges to win a scholarship meets the new girl in school. Don't you love him? He begins to take a liking to the girl and ends up cheating on his girlfriend with her in what was supposed to be a one-night stand. Oh yeah. The new girl soon reveals her true colors as an unstable, vengeful murderer, aren't they all, who obsesses over her former flame, his girlfriend, and family. So what did I think of Swimfan? I thought it's a terrible teen thriller. TTT. First off, if you've ever seen any movie like this, like let's say The Perfect Guy that I reviewed last week, it's exactly what you would expect, but worse. It starts out with a boring setup, which feels like any other generic teen movie. You know, like that, Not Another Teen Movie? That's what they should have called this one. Then the audience enters the usual stalker portion of the film, where the girl starts showing up at the guy's house uninvited, starts messaging him on his starts messaging him non-stop on his pager, an instant messenger, which you kids might not know what a pager is or instant messaging, but it's what old Uncle Wes used to do back in the early 2000s. Actually, I never had a pager, but whatevs. And start messing with his friends. Finally, we get a ludicrous finale, which gives us a fake ending thinking the pain is finally over, but unfortunately comes back for more torture. The cast stars Jesse Bradford as Ben, the high school swimmer looking to impress scouts from Stanford and has made a comeback after a troubled past. Erica Christensen as Madison, the new cello player in school who seems innocent enough at first, but becomes a psychopath. And Shiri Appleby as Amy, Ben's girlfriend who's worried about him being across country from him if they both go to colleges that they want to. Swimfan is the kind of movie that sinks about 5 minutes in. I'm going to give it the rating of... I got 2 words for you, Swimfan. Suck it! Yeah, this is not good. I've had this sitting in my collection for a while, and it's just been collecting dust, and that it should have been. It's now at a DVD store that I traded it for, so yeah. These random reviews I'm doing, they're certainly letting me clean out my DVD collection, so at least they're good for something, right? And they give me a good unintentional laugh every now and then, right? So if you come across Swimfan and you're like, oh, this might be alright, just leave it on the rack or leave it on the Netflix. Don't put it in your queue. Just swim far away. Alright, well that does it for this week. Next week I'll be back with my reviews of Everest, which came out this week, but only in big screen format in IMAX, and there's no IMAX around me anymore since I moved into the new A-list studios here. And there's also The Intern with Robert De Niro and Anne Hathaway, as well as Hotel Transylvania 2, and I don't know if it's coming to my theater. I really hope it is, but The Green Inferno comes out next week. So I might have it on the show, I might not. Let's hope I will. If not, I'm going to have to try to find it somewhere else or travel for it. So we'll see. But no, at least Hotel Transylvania 2, Everest, and The Intern are going to be on here next week, as well as my new punishment, the random review, whatever it might be. So, until next time, don't forget to subscribe right here on YouTube, youtube.com/westside515. You can like the Facebook page, facebook.com/WestTrueBaylist. Follow me on the Twitter and the Instagram @WesAList. And of course, you can buy my book, The A-List Review 2014 Movie Review Yearbook. Only $10. Over 150 reviews. Contact me through Facebook or Twitter if you're interested. Until next time, Troop out.